Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace. You gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the Birks, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really nah, I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the ribbon, we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no, you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition, they ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing yet. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Woo! Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. How much the gang we packing? We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Murder drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. Bonito, cheap, Keith.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They've been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, we got the dump. We got the push it down almost to $100,000, bottoming out here at about $100,300, guys. What is coming next for Bitcoin? We are obviously below our macro value area high, which has been that big key level of resistance that kind of made us suspicious of a continuation to the downside. Are we headed to the POC of the range, or are we going to bounce off of one of these like last resort levels of support and get that bigger move to the upside? I'm going to break it all down on tonight's live stream. So shout out to the Candle Mafia, guys. We saw the 16-hour red dot with that 1-hour money flow crossover into the red on yesterday's live stream, and unfortunately, it is playing out. But yeah, with all that being said, guys, we got a lot to look at here on the charts. Hopefully, I could put some people's minds at ease, even if we have to look at some lower prices. Hopefully, you know, we don't think the bear market is here and the bull market is over or anything like that. But hey, we could still potentially see a bigger continuation down, as we have been looking at before potentially getting our next big leg up in this bull market. Hopefully. But with all that being said, shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us here and spending your precious time with your boy Frankie Candles and the Candle Mafia. We got Jesse in the chat. Welcome in, guys. Jesse is our like police, so don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Every 100 likes we get gets you guys closer to winning some free crypto. We will be doing a crypto giveaway tomorrow, so smash that like button. Let's see. Shout out to Paul. We got Darren Does Things in the chat. Let's see. We got Misha in the chat said Musk broke us. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, guys, it is funny. It's like, is the news dumping us? Is it the TA? What the? Why are we coming down here? But it is really funny, guys. As you know, I always say, show me the charts. I'll tell you the news every single time. We saw it. We'll talk about it. Without further ado, guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. Smash that like button. Help support the channel if you appreciate these free updates. And if we helped you anticipate this push down based off the signals we were looking at yesterday, smash that like button. And let's go ahead and jump right into the charts here. I don't want to waste too much time as we are getting the push down. But as you guys know, right, I always say this, right? Show me the charts. I will tell you the news every single time. And it does not even matter what the news is, in my opinion, right? Yesterday, what we were looking at, we did have the 16-hour red dot printing right here with our 1 hour and 45-minute money flow crossing over into the red. You can see our 1 hour money flow cross into the red right here. Come back over to the 16-hour. That was happening right on that 16-hour red dot. And then the 12-hour red dot was also printing with our 45-minute money flow crossing over into the red, which actually happened a little bit earlier here. We did fake out back into the green slightly. Excuse me. However, we did wind up getting the continuation to the downside here, guys. That market cipher B 1/16th bearish setup did indeed wind up playing out here, which is why I was willing to continue to hold my short position, which I am obviously still holding here, and it is continuing to pay us out here about 3,400 unrealized. Now, I will be taking a little bit more profit here. However, I did drag my stop loss a little bit deeper into profit here, but as you guys know, the CandleMafia makes money whether price goes up or down. So even though we don't think the bear market's here, even on these little pushes down, guys, we could still make money if you understand how to do the TA. So I am still holding that short position over on Femex. However, I do want to talk about the possibility of some more potential downside. I know not everybody wants to hear that, but I'm going to show you guys like the local levels of support as well as the higher time frame support levels that I will be watching in case, right, we do have pretty good amount of bearish signals popping up on the chart here, guys. So I do want to cover the idea of coming down here. We'll go over the bearish case. I'll show you a potential scenario where we could maybe escape this, but again, we do have those high time frames looking a little bit more bearish, in my opinion, as we looked at yesterday on the live stream. Let me hide that previous all-time. Actually, I'll keep that up there for now. If we come on over to the weekly time frame, I'm going to take off our macro volume profile. Just in general, guys, as you know, we've been looking at this weekly, not only VWAP coming to the downside, looking to print a potential red dot here, but we also do have a weekly bearish divergence. And, we've compared this many times to the 2021 top that we had here. I'm not necessarily saying it's the top of the bull market. I want to be very, very, very clear about that. But we just kind of compared this structure in general to the price action that we have currently right now. It's just kind of that same exact structure, right? We have the sweep of liquidity of the highs, just to kind of get this resized here. Bada boom, bada bing. We do have the obvious weekly bearish divergence, which happened in 2021. And then we also had a sweep of liquidity of the all-time high. And again, this doesn't necessarily mean it's the bear market, but, with that, on top of the fact that we do have the weekly red dot incoming, which will print that bearish divergence once we do end up getting that. We've been talking for the past few streams, even since last week, looking for a potential bigger correction to the downside. And you guys know some of the bigger targets were around the $96,000 to $97,000 point of control. But we're going to get to that in a second. I just want to talk about kind of the bearish signals we're seeing here on the higher time frames. Weekly bearish divergence, red dot incoming. We also have the 6-day red dot, which has finally started to print here. So that was something we were looking at yesterday, potentially incoming, very similar to the weekly. We have the VWAP coming down, and we know that red dot was coming. So here it is. It might be coming here on the weekly as well. And again, to add insult to injury there, it is a bearish divergence, which again doesn't mean bear market, but it could mean that we have a little bit more down to come before we get that next leg to the upside. And hang on, guys. Hold on to your, don't get too freaked out right now. I'm going to talk about, a potential scenario where we can escape this. But again, we cannot ignore these higher time frame signals, guys. So with that, right, we had the 6-day red dot. The 5-day red dot was confirmed. And then on top of that, we also had the 16-hour red dot with the 1 hour money flow crossover into the red. The 12-hour red dot, 45-minute money flow crossover into the red, at least making us anticipate the continuation a little bit here. But this could be the start of a bigger pullback, not a bear market, but a bigger pullback to some very, very key levels that we have. And even here, guys, like just if you look at this local trend, this is number one. We hit the all-time high. We got the drop to the downside. We got a push up into our previous all-time high. Let me pull this up here on our current range. Right, we got a push up into our previous all-time high at 109,880. We had a short setup here in the premium Discord. I got stopped out at break even, so I did re-enter on that retest of the previous all-time high. That's where my short is taken from right now. That's the one I just showed. But we have a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, which we knew. On Sunday in the premium Discord, we were looking at this saying, well, hey, if we are going to put in a lower high, where is that first area that would very likely come in? Well, that was very likely to either come in at the first, local golden pocket retracement sitting right here in confluence of the value area high, value area low of our upper range. We do have stronger levels up here, but again, you don't know if you're going to reject that local retracement level or if you're going to come into the full golden pocket or 786. In this case, we did have the resistance there, and we did wind up getting the rejection back into our value area high. So again, just to point this out, we do have locally bearish market structure, and we are now breaking very, very, very key levels. There's many reasons to be open to the bigger pullback. And even yesterday, guys, as we looked at this, I know a lot of people don't want to hear more downside, but when the signs are on the chart, I'm so happy that I just stick to the TA, right? Because more often than not, it is going to be right. You know, we would hope for the push up here, but again, the higher probability was for the move to the downside based off what we looked at on Market Cipher B, the local market structure, the weekly red dot, etc. And on top of that, the big thing here is, you know, very, very obvious, the lock below the value area high of our macro range, right? We come up, we come back out. We could not get above here. We tested this like 15 times, right? We know once you get stuck, accepted back inside this volume profile. Whoops, I deleted that. Back inside this volume profile, can't get back above the high, can't get back above the high, can't get above it, can't get above it, can't get above it, can't get above it, final rejection, and then you get the big drop to the downside. So, you know, as long as we remain below this macro value area high, this is going to be more of a bearish look. Why? Well, simply based off the volume profiles. Like I always say, guys, I know things get very bullish up here. However, not only do we have the weekly red dot, bearish divergence, all that stuff, but we also deviated above the highs here. We swept the liquidity of the previous all-time high. And like even just locally here, right, when you look at this in terms of a volume profile, anytime you deviate above the high, it doesn't mean that it's the bear market. Just like here, we had a massive correction, right? But we did come in and put a new all-time high. It's the same thing up here. Anytime you deviate above a value area high, this is where you want to be looking for shorts, right? We're not looking for shorts down here, right? This is not an area. If anything, I did get stopped out of a scalp long position here earlier today. But other than that, right, my favor here is my preference was to hold the short and have this continuation down continue, right? And we get the deviation above the high. You had the bearish divergences here on the daily, on the 2-day, and anytime you get a deviation above a value area high, this is looked at as overvalued relative to the recent price action, and this is where you want to look for shorts, potentially to get back down inside that value area high and potentially start targeting some lower prices, maybe looking at the POC at around 96 to 97K, and that's what I want to cover on today's live stream. I want to talk about the higher time frame levels, and then yesterday, somebody actually said it in chat. Now, this is something I've been looking at for quite some time. I do not trade patterns, guys. I'm not a pattern trader, but we do have the left shoulder here, the head, and then the right shoulder. This is obviously a bearish pattern that occurs at tops or an inverse head and shoulder at bottoms. But again, you know, we do have this head and shoulders, which, you know, is a bearish pattern, right? It's not the head and shoulders that makes me, you know, look for a short, right? But it's the head and shoulders that's letting me know, well, hey, my short here is probably going to continue to play out because not only do you have the head and shoulders pattern, you know, starting to play out here, but you're also stuck under that value area high. Market cipher B bearish signals, etc. Right? So many reasons to potentially be looking down towards some of these lower levels. Now, before we cover the lower support levels, guys, I do want to cover maybe one situation that we might be able to escape out of this situation with. But again, as long as we remain below this value area high, we have to anticipate, and you can just see in hindsight, like how perfectly this plays out on the higher time frames on the daily. It's like a clear drop below, a bearish retest, and then you get the breakdown. We are now at risk of coming down to the POC. But I'm going to cover the potential escape that we could have here in just a minute, but I'm going to check in on chat, see what you guys are thinking. Let's see. Let's see, bada boom, bada bing. I think I might have missed some super chats here for a second. Bada boom. Oh, yo, shout out to Captain Kirk. Thank you for the super chat. Happy birthday, Jay Violet. I'm sorry, Bitcoin, stop it on your birthday. But shout out to Jay Violet. Happy birthday. We'll have to sing happy birthday to you maybe at the end of the stream. So shout out to Jay Violet. Drop some birthday cakes in the chat for Jay Violet. Let's see. Shout out to Curtis Reese. Said, just tipping the dealer. Frankie gave me the TA. I need to make the gains I deserve. I need to make the gains I deserve. Thanks for all the help, bro. 180% up on my trade. Let's go. Shout out to Curtis Reese, bro. We're going to throw some money for you. I don't know how much this is, but we're throwing it for you, bro. Bing bong. Shout out to Curtis Reese, bro. Just remember, I helped, but you're the one that pulled the trigger. You're the one that just took the TA and added it into your analysis, and you made the decisions. So shout out to Curtis Reese. Nice work, bro. And I appreciate the super chat. Tipping the dealer's crazy, bro. But let's see. Stegosaurus pattern slaps. Shout out to French Toaster. What up, Frankie? Shout out to Inspector Chris. Welcome in, bro. Bada boom. Let's see. It SFP the lows of the previous range. Shout out to Jose. This is actually what I'm going to talk about right now. Let's see. Her birthday is on Saturday. Shout out to Gen Z. Well, okay, so we'll sing happy birthday to I don't know. We'll have to go live for Jay Valley's birthday on Saturday. Close out of my short from 106.5. Let's go. Shout out to Kilgannon. Let's go, baby. Let's go. What up, Frankie? What do you say about Trump and Elon? I mean, listen. This is the thing, right? Sure, maybe this is why I love TA, right? Again, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news every single time. We've done this so many times live on the stream. And again, yesterday, right? Like, I'm not saying that the news doesn't move the price, right? But more often than not, if you're trading the news, you're probably going to be late, right? You get the news, you get the dump, right? And then you get, this is not where I'm looking to short. Like, I would never short down here, right? Where are my shorts from? They're from up here. So, when everybody else is super bullish, right? Like it just goes to show, like, when most people are bullish, right? When we talk about shorting the all-time high here, I showed this on the live stream. I shorted the all-time high, obviously got stopped out at break even. But when I talk about shorting the all-time high, obviously it is always going to be a little bit risky, but people are like, you're an idiot, dude. We're going to 200K. Why would you short up here? Well, the reason is because you want to short when price is going up, not when it's going down. And if you're trading based off the news, you get the drop down, right? Like, you're just too late to it, right? And more often than not, if you do get bearish news and you get a dump, or you get bullish news and you get a pump, 99% of the time, it is just in line with what the TA said the days prior, right? Yesterday, we were looking at the 16-hour market cipher B, 1/16th bearish setup. We were looking at the weekly bearish divergence with the red dot incoming. These are bearish signs, right? Talking about the potential move down to these lows and potentially 96 to 97K. We didn't know what the news was going to be today. And that's how you front run these moves. This is how you get short from the high and enjoy that move to the downside rather than trying to trade based off the news. And sometimes, sometimes you could have a bearish sentiment off the charts, and then you get bullish news out of nowhere, and you fly, and it steps on the TA. That 100% happens sometimes as well. But statistically, right, it's all about probabilities, right? You just want to take the highest probability trade. You're never going to be able to take 100. It's not like we're sitting here yesterday being like, doesn't matter what happens tomorrow, right? Like, we're just bearish here. If we get bullish news, we're still going to dump. But it's just funny, right? Anytime we have a bearish anytime we're short, right, with a bearish sentiment, it's like the news just follows, right? And the news is always lagging. But anyway, that's why we'd like to read the charts. I don't know how people trade the news, right? It's like you get the news, it dumps, and then, like, I don't know, you're just jumping in late here. I'd rather be short from the tops. But anyway, continuing on here, before we go over the lower levels here, guys, I do want to talk about the potential. We did just get a sweep of liquidity down here. As you guys know, we have covered this many times on the live stream. We did have liquidity sitting down below all of these lows, right? We had the low here at about 102,000. We also had the local low here at about 103K. But there's a lot of liquidity sitting down here, and we did just come down and sweep out this liquidity. Now, I did not personally see, when we look at this, right, you have the SFP. This is on the 4-hour. But if you come on down to the 1 hour, typically what I like to see is a 1 hour SFP. And if you could get to get a better entry, I do like to see these on the 45-minute. I like to see them on the 30-minute or even the 15-minute. And we have not gotten the SFP on any of these time frames, right? We also don't have any bullish divergences, right? We don't have any real bullish signs on the order flow as well. Sure, you have a 4-hour SFP. Could we sweep this and get a massive move up? Sure. But that would be going against the higher time frames. I mean, your money flow on your 4-hour is tanking to the downside. The weekly red dot is incoming. Could that fake out? Sure. But again, it's just a game of probabilities, right? Like the probabilities say if that red dot prints, the continuation down is going to happen, right? And at this point, we're still below the value area high, right? Deviate above the high, bearish confirmations, get back into the range, can't get out. This is where you look to continue your journey down through that profile. So I would say, the only thing I can see happen here is if we sweep this low, right? And really, if we pull up our key levels of support here, we have our golden pocket sitting right here. And then we also have the daily naked point of control. And as we continue down here, with the way Market Cipher B looks, I was talking to the premium Discord earlier today. Actually did take a scalp long here, got stopped out. I don't win all of my trades, right? It's, again, probabilities. I don't win every single one of my trades. So I did take a little bit of a loss today, but obviously the short is continuing to pay out much more than that loss. But as the Market Cipher B develops here, right, like even on that long position, letting the Discord know, like, this is like, I don't really love this setup anymore, right? Because, money flow is coming to the downside, but we did get an SFP. Typically, SFPs give you a good opportunity to at least squeak into profit at some point. So it makes it very likely that you could at least get into profit and move your stop loss to break even for a guaranteed winning trade. So when we look at this, right? But again, money flow is coming out, and I was just talking about how I don't really love these local levels anymore based off the higher time frames, the weekly bearish divergence, the 16-hour red dot with the 1 hour money flow crossing into the red. I am not as interested in this. For a while, we were looking at a potential sweep of liquidity down below these lows for a big move up. And could that happen? Absolutely, right? There's no way to guarantee that, something is going to happen. Sure, we could potentially do that. But at this point, it's just going against the TA. And even if we do get a bounce here, you're below the macro value area high. The higher probability here is more downside, in my opinion, right? And I could be wrong, right? And that's totally fine. We've been wrong before. We will be wrong again. You can't be right 100% of the time. But if we do sweep this low, I mean, I didn't really get the entry confirmations. Sure, maybe we get the 4-hour SFP once this candle confirms in 2 hours, right? But you still have 2 hours for that SFP to confirm. So, yeah, and again, no bullish divergences. Another big thing I want to see down here was going to be 4-hour bull divs. Lower lows on price action, no higher low on your momentum waves, right? So you don't even have the 4-hour bull div. So right now, even if it does get a bounce here, I'm happy to let that go without me. I just don't have the confirmations to take the long right here. And 9 out of 10 times when I do that, once in a while it'll go up without me. But 9 out of 10 times, it is. I look back and I am happy that I didn't just chase the trade there. So, I'll be honest, this is really the last level, right? You get the SFP, maybe you get the bounce up, but again, at this point, right, your local market structure, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. You're definitely at risk of continuing that trend. The trend is your friend until the end. And underneath this, right, we did what is the bottom of this candle? Let's see here, $100,355. I say, unless you swing fail here, maybe you push into this support. But once you lose $100,000, again, just in the overall context of things, I would like to see bigger support tapped. And this NPOC is a trading view naked point of control. Not that these aren't strong, guys, but if you pull up exo charts real quick and we take a look at our daily NPOCs on exo charts, see if this will load. If we take a look here, right, on exo charts, really the next MPOC on exo charts is not sitting down here until about $94,000. And I'm going to show you guys why that actually is a stronger level in my opinion, right? Right here, we have the trading view MPOC. We have the golden pocket pulled from the bottom of this range. In my opinion, the strongest Fibonacci retracement levels, based off what I look at, right, are going to be pulled either from the absolute low here, which puts your golden pocket all the way below this value area low. I'm not calling for that, but it is there. The other place we could pull these fibs from are going to be where price got impulsive, right? This is typically when I pull Fibonacci retracements, I pull them from significant highs, significant lows, and where price got impulsive. So the next kind of area that I would look at would be pulling it from where price got very impulsive here, where we broke these highs, got accepted into our upper profile, and this comes in right at about $94,729 all the way down to about $93,800, right on that ExoCharts daily naked point of control at 94K. So in my opinion, I'm going to bring up these larger support levels if we do get the continuation down. POC, again, just based off the volume profile, very simple. Deviate above the high, get stuck underneath, back to the POC, lose the POC, back to the value area low. And you're going to see why this makes sense. And I'm not saying we have to come down there, but again, if we were seeing 4-hour bull divs, beautiful swing failure patterns, money flow coming up at this level, I would feel much more confident about that bounce. It doesn't mean it can't bounce. It just means the probabilities are not extremely high. And I only like to take trades, for the most part, that are very high probability. And if I take a low probability trade, I lower the risk. I use a tighter stop loss. I use a lower position size. But let me get these lines off the chart real quick. It's the same thing up here, right? We deviate above the high. You get back in. You can't get above. We start to drop. And then it's like, oh, my God, what happened? I thought we were going to the POC. You just get rejected again. You wind up going to the POC anyway. And then it's like you bing bong around. What happens? You eventually fill to the low. So, it's the same situation. We're just going to treat this as a typical volume profile. It's pretty clean, right? And actually, honorable mention here, if you go ahead and measure out this head and shoulders, right? You have the left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If you kind of measure this out, right, for the technical target, pull it from the high to the neckline, and then drop it to the breakdown point, this brings you pretty close to that key level of support. So let me just bring these up really quickly. Lower macro support. So again, can't get back above this value area high. The next likely place for price to go based off the volume profiles and honestly the technical target of this head and shoulders is going to be at least to the POC of the range, right? Now, this is not me saying we are guaranteed to go to the POC. there is no guaranteed answers in trading, right? Now, do we get it right way more than we get it wrong? Absolutely, right? Again, it's just a game of probabilities. But based off the volume profile, based off the incoming red dot on the weekly, based on the local market structure here, I would say as soon as we lose $100,000, if we do not get a quick reclaim of 100K, 96 to 97,000 is going to be the next stop. And just underneath that, we have that golden pocket retracement and that daily naked point of control sitting at about 94K. And if we continue down, it would make a lot of sense, right? Again, maybe we come down to 100K. Maybe we get the bounce, right? Maybe we get the bounce from 100K. But I would say that is kind of the last level. Once you start losing that $100,000 psychological level, this is the next big place to look. And this is pretty much what we've been looking at all week, right? These are not really new levels. If you tune into this live stream every day, you'll be very familiar with the idea of losing the value area high and going to the POC, right? It plays out way more often than it doesn't. So that's what I'm looking at, right? And again, there's reason for that. The only thing I can see here is SFP this low. Maybe tap 100K if we have to, but I don't know. We lose 100K, I would definitely be expecting these lower prices, right? Now, does this mean bear market? Does this mean bull market over? No, not in my opinion, right? I do not think that. And again, like even this daily naked point of control, in my opinion, I like to look at the exo charts naked points of controls. They tend to be a little bit more accurate. So yeah, I mean, it is there. You could bounce off it, but I would just say the stronger levels are below. But, you know, just to be clear, right? Like there's price could go up and price could go down. There's no way to guarantee it. But again, you know, the TA is right more often than it isn't. So if we do get that move down, this is the next big level of support. This really does sit between about $96,800 and about $94,000. If we lose that POC, where is the next likely place for price to go? Somebody in the chat, let me know. I know somebody knows. If we do get that drop down, the next likely place for price to go is obviously going to be down towards that value we never experienced all season yet. Yeah, shout out to John. It's okay, right? You know, listen, maybe we do go into a bear market, right? This is possible too. Maybe we don't get an alt season, but again, I'm not necessarily worried here. I will say we do have the weekly bear div. You do have the monthly bear div technically as well. If we take a look here, just hide the TA real quick. Whoops, bada boom. Right, so we do have the monthly bearish divergence potentially looking to print as well. Again, this is going to take time to play out. Higher highs, lower highs. You do have a bear div there. So, you know, again, this is the same thing we've been looking at for weeks now, right? Anticipating the potential pullback to 96 and 97K with the addition of this golden pocket. And once we lose that POC, guys, we know that chances are, if you don't bounce off that golden pocket, I would definitely be looking at this as key support. But once you decisively start losing this, where's the next place for price to likely go? Lose the POC, price is likely to go to the value area low. Once you lose the golden pocket, price is likely to go to the 786. And that 786 is also confluent with our value area low. So I'm just viewing this as a high time frame volume profile. We've gotten the drop back in. You have the head and shoulders, right? Back into the value area high. Let's see if we can make it to the POC. And again, if I were seeing very convincing bullish signals down here, I would be longing this. I am not personally long at this level right now. Maybe it bounces. I am happy to let that go without me, right? Because just because we get a move up, that does not mean I'm just like jumping into a long to try to catch every single move, right? I only want to take those high probability trades. When I took this short up here, right, it was based off technical signals, right? We came up to a key level, and I got my bearish entry triggers to actually take that short. I don't really see them down here. I don't really take entries based off a 4-hour SFP. Could you get it and get a massive move up? Maybe, right? And honestly, for the sake of my spot bags, I hope that happens, right? Because I'm just going to get stopped out in profit on my short, and, you know, the spot bags will continue to pump. I'll make money on the short. Beautiful. But, I don't really see the entry triggers that I wanted to see. You know, 4-hour SFP can be a thing. But again, yeah, I mean, maybe we get that, right? But again, I would say, you know, money flow is coming out here. Not the best look, right? 8-hour money flow coming back out as well. Maybe you get an 8-hour bull div, right? Maybe you get the 8-hour bull div. But again, I would really like to see some of these, at least some of these lower time frame bearish, bullish divergences, which we just do not have. So yeah, that's kind of my thought process. Head and shoulders. You know, again, we've been talking about this move down, and not that we made it to the POC, but we've been talking about this for quite some time. You know, volume profiles are absolutely goated, guys. It's like almost like if you just ignore all the other TA and you just look at the volume profile, it's like once you get stuck underneath here, like the continuation down is very likely. So that's what I'm looking at. Unless we SFP this low, not looking super good at the moment. But if we did get that, you know, there's an opportunity to get a bounce. But at that point, right, I would have to be very careful of lower highs and lower lows, right? We're below the value area high. You do get that bounce, right? You have to be very careful of another lower high and another lower low coming in. And if we draw the neckline of that head and shoulders real quick, pull that fib from the lower high. Whoops. Come on. Come on. From the lower high to that low. Oftentimes, right, like when you're trading, if you do trade patterns, typically when you look at this is kind of the way you would look at or trade this would be you get the breakdown, and then, a lot of times you will get a bearish retest of that neckline before the big drop. Doesn't happen all the time, but, that neckline is confluent with this level. So key resistance above. Let's just say, again, I'm not long for this, which is fine. I'm fine missing that move to the upside. Again, I am short from all the way up here. But if we do get some kind of surprise bounce here, this is the big level of resistance. Obviously, the value area high at 105,742 is going to be very key. And then the golden pocket 786 retracement sits, this whole zone sits between 104,326 and 105,750. Golden pocket 786, which is a high probability area to put in the lower high before another lower low. You also have the macro value area high and the neckline of this head and shoulders flying right through there. So many reasons, if you do get the bounce here, that this is key resistance. It's not until we break above the value area high where I would be looking for the bigger move up towards 108, 109, between 108.5 and $110,000, right? This is the same thing we looked at yesterday, right? Like, hey, if we rip out of here, I was sitting on my hands holding my short. If we got the move up first, I was going to look to 108.5 to 110K. Area where we could put in a lower high on the higher time frames. That is a golden pocket, 786 confluence zone, right? But we got the move down first, which is nice. That was my preferred scenario, right? With the 16-hour red dot, 1-hour money flow crossover, and it was preferable for my short position as well. So, yeah, I would say biggest key level of resistance right now, if we do get a bounce from this SFP, if we do get it on the 4-hour, again, we do have an hour and 45 minutes to confirm that. If we did do it and get a bounce, this would be the biggest level of resistance. Once we get above the value area high, I would still be looking up. These levels have moved slightly. This confluence will be slightly different. We'll talk about that. I don't know if we're going to get the massive rip up there right away, but I would say this is the biggest level of resistance on the chart, right? As long as we remain below this value area high, I am going to be looking for the continuation through the profile. If we get above it, beautiful. We'll look up towards those larger levels, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Biggest level of resistance, and then the biggest level of support right now, in my opinion, 100K. You lose 100K, I think the probabilities of coming down to the macro support is very high. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated here on the live streams and the market updates here on the channel as price action develops. Let's see. Shout out to Inspector Chris said, I'm holding my shorts too. Let's go. Shout out to Inspector Chris. In profit, baby. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Tony D, or I'm sorry, shout out to Pin Vic. Shout out to you, or Pink Vic. Shout out to you, bro. He says, I couldn't find the live stream. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you have notifications on. And then you should get the notification once we go live. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Vegas Claw said, Frankie's the type of guy to go to prom with two preservatives and leave with 5. Shout out to Vegas Claw. These memes are Vegas Claw. You literally had me cracked up before I start the stream almost every day with those. I'm not gonna lie. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to French Toaster. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Send it to 0, Frankie. Shout out to Abazi. I don't want it to go to 0, guys. I'm not gonna lie, right? Like, and here's the thing, right? If we do get the bigger retracements, I would not be calling for 0, right? Like, again, at the end of the day, when you look at the higher time frames, guys, the full Fibonacci retracement, right? Like, technically, as long as we can hold that 786 at about 82K, I'm not saying we have to go down there, but like, even if we did get a massive drop to 82K, this is still, again, like I talked about yesterday, just like this 786 was an area for a potential higher low and higher high, this 786 at 82.5 is going to be the same thing, right? Most people are going to think it's the bear market, right? And, at the end of the day, maybe they're right? But if you hold this level, right, you could still technically put in a higher low. And that's why, that's why the volume profiles help so much, right? You could simply just pull your volume profile and just look at this within the terms of a range, right? And we know the highest probability once you get above even this value area low. Once we got above this value area low, we knew the POC was likely next. We got that. Once you flip the value POC, the value area high is next. We got that. Deviate above the high, overvalued, back into the range, bearish retest. Right now, guys, based off the volume profiles, that POC would be beautiful to see. Can't guarantee it, but it would be absolutely beautiful to see. We see this happen time and time again. If you watch this show at all, guys, deviate the high, back in, POC, value area low. Back in, get above the low, POC, flip the POC, value area high. The only reason I would be interested in a long, right, or a potential bounce from the POC, you might say to yourself, well, Frankie, wouldn't you want to wait for the low? Sure, but because this area, the POC, is confluent with the golden pocket, right, we don't know if we're looking for macro higher lows, right, if we are going to come down here. Where we at? Bada boom. Right, and then you have the 786. We don't know if we're going to get the bounce from the POC zone, right, or the golden pocket, or the 786. These are both valid levels, right? If we get the move down to the value area low, I do tend to feel a little safer longing at a value area low, because especially if you deviate below, this is undervalued. And then once you get above the low, you could say, well, hey, the POC is very likely, and then get above that, the value area high is very likely. The POC is a little bit, I don't love it as much because especially because the golden pocket sits below the POC. Once you long this, you're kind of longing directly into the point of control. So, but I will entertain longs there based off the Fibonacci retracement, right? It is an area where we could put a higher low in, and you never know, right? In a case like this, in this specific situation, you can get the bounce off the golden pocket, reclaim POC, and then get the bigger move to the upside. So I will be entertaining both of those zones as support, and those are the higher time frame supports. Lose 100K, I would think it's very probable to get the move down to 97K. If we bounce here, key resistance between 104,326 and 105,755. Flip that value area high. We could finally look for a move into the 108s and the 109s. But still, I would say, as of right now, if you want to bounce from here, I'll just give you the roadmap. If you do just want to like look for a massive move up. I'll give you what you need, right? If you want a massive move into all-time highs, if you think this is like, maybe this is the last shakeout, right? And like, that's it. That's all we needed. One last dump before they just send it off to higher prices. You got to get, number one, above the value area high. And number two, the line in the sand here is to get above about 110K, 109,734. That is the level to flip to support to look for all-time highs. But again, you don't typically just put in all-time highs when you have a red dot this close to printing on the weekly. And a bearish divergence, right? You would just be banking on the fake out there on the weekly, which could happen, right? It's just less probable. So, yeah, we'll see. If we get the bounce, I'm happy to miss out on that. Again, I'm short is a massive profit. But other than that, those are the next major key levels of support that I will be looking at. And, yeah, I hate to say it. I'm not that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But, again, if the charts say down, guys, we have to look at that potential scenario playing out. But we'll see. At the end of the day, nothing goes up in a straight line and nothing goes down in a straight line. I wouldn't be surprised, if you do get cool-offs, you just want to understand that local level of resistance there on the 786, head and shoulders neckline, value area high. So, I doubt that if we get a bounce here, it's just going to moon through all this resistance, immediately come up. I would expect some kind of at least reaction there. So we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. But I'm just going to still, only thing I can do is share with you guys what I'm doing with my personal position. And as I showed at the beginning of the stream, I'm just holding my short, hoping for the continuation down, right? Not just hoping for no reason, right? Just hoping based off the TA. Looking for that continuation down here on for the short. If we come up, I'll stop out and profit. And then, yeah, we could just take it from there. All right, let's see. Let's see. Yo, shout out to PB Stack. Says, I'm going to have one last dump after this Taco Bell. Shout out to PB Stack. Yeah, somebody ate Taco Bell today. That is very factual. Do TA with the hand. Shout out to Tony D. I didn't preload Mrs. Candle's hand in here. Hey, guys, I might have something that'll make you feel a little bit better about this Bitcoin dump. Let me phone a friend really quickly here. Hang on one sec. Let me phone a friend real quick. All right, maybe, I don't know, maybe Mrs. Candles is totally deflated again, guys. Mrs. Candles is not doing good. But we'll see. We'll have a visitor here in a second. Let's see. Why are we going sideways now at 101.2? Is there a lot of liquidations at that area? Shout out to Chevy. I think that's or Chevit. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that says. Yeah, the 3-day money flow. Shout out to Dave Hagan. Yeah, this is another thing that we looked at yesterday, right? That 3-day money flow might be looking for the crossover. And again, the chart is the truth. I'm going to get that, we're going to make a hat that says the chart is the truth. It is, again, if we want new, I don't know. Could you bounce here? Anything could happen, guys, at the end of the day, right? I would be lying if I said it's impossible to do this. I could say it's not likely, but again, like for that to happen, for massive legs to the upside, right? You don't oftentimes see money flow coming out on the 3-day. You oftentimes don't see a weekly red dot about to print with a bearish divergence, right? So right now, I'm going to remain bearish, right? And again, it's not just bearish down only, right? Again, we can get little bounces to the. This is like the hardest part of my job, right? Because I can say I'm bearish right now. I can say I'm shorting, right? And, as soon as we bounce, if you're not experienced on the chart, and if you're new here, take this and learn from it, right? We short here, and it's like, oh, we're bearish, right? And then you get a bounce, and if you don't understand how to read the chart, you're going to be like, what the heck? I thought we were bearish. Why are we pumping, right? But that's why market structure is king, right? Oh, we're bearish. We're going down. Oh, my God, what happened? Now we're pumping, right? But you have to understand the context of the market. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? And the fact that lower high came in at that golden pocket value area low that we looked at on Sunday in the premium Discord, right? Like we look for these areas. This is the first area to likely put in a lower high. When you're in a trend, right? When you're in an uptrend or a downtrend, right? Let's say we're in a downtrend. High, low, lower high, lower low. If we're looking to get in on this trend to continue to capitalize on that move down, we do not short as price is coming down. And I know if you're new here, it might sound crazy. Why would you not look for a short as price is dumping? You want to go with price, right? But not necessarily, right? You don't want to enter as price is dumping. I always say this. There is no reality that exists where I am longing the top of a massive green candle or shorting the bottom of a massive red candle. To find the areas where you want to enter the shorts is you want to pull your Fibonacci retracements from the high to the low. This golden pocket 786 zone, free sauce, is the highest probability area to put a lower high in and a lower low. You're better off holding off on the short, not getting FOMO, and letting price retrace into the high probability rejection area. Once you get, if and only if you get your confirmations here, well, hey, this is an area where we could put in a lower high, continue the downtrend, and I have some bearish entry confirmations, maybe some bearish CVD, maybe some low time frame bearish divergences, whatever you're looking for, right? That is where you want to enter the short. That way you're not taking a short down here, going immediately into the red, only to have price go in your direction, right? And that is exactly what we do all the time. We know, hey, if we're going to put in a lower high, the first area to do that in is pull from the lower high to the lower low. Say, hey, golden pocket 786, this zone is going to be the first area to put the lower high in. What happens? Lower low to come in, pushing us towards the wick at 100,800 or 100,700, right? Now that we're inside the larger range, sure, we could bounce here, but does that mean that we're just going to go to the moon? Not necessarily. The trend is your friend, right? Looking for the lower high and a potential another lower low. Break structure to the downside, continue to move down, right? If you break above this, then you go look for the continuation up, right? But not necessarily all-time highs, right? Because you also have, this is a local Fibonacci retracement. This is your local retracement. If you get above this, there are still areas you could put in lower highs, right? Look at your full fib from the high all the way to the low. You could potentially come up, put in a lower high, and continue the overall downtrend. I would say with the value area high sitting up here, I would definitely say the more confluent area is here. I would definitely, you have the value area high. You have the neckline of the head and shoulders. You have three major confluent levels here, right? So I would say that would be the more aggressive. This is what I would like to reject, to be quite honest. But in order to say that the downtrend is fully over, right, on a higher time frame, yeah, I would really like to see the downtrend continue like this, right? But if you come up here, right, that 786 is the level to break for all-time highs. That would invalidate the continuation down. And at this point, I would say, yeah, I would definitely watch the local level here, especially because of the head and shoulders. So there you go. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. XRP is for noobs. Short-term dump, long-term dump to zero. Shout out to Mark. I hope XRP doesn't go to zero. Shout out to Peter, says he's predicting the price for the end of the month. Maybe. Again, time is hard to say, right? Maybe we get a dump down tomorrow again, right? Very hard to call the exact timing of it. But yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Indian, says RIP our Peak bags. Take a quick look at Peak real quick. Yeah, I mean, not even Peak. I mean, really, any of the altcoins are, they are struggling. And again, looking at the Bitcoin dominance, guys. Everybody will call for alt season time and time and time again, right? But I don't know what they're looking at, right? It's like, I mean, to be honest, we're still in this fib retracement. You know, you could reject that 786 still, technically. But, I mean, we break this 786, guys. The alts are 66.21% is probably the next stop for Bitcoin dominance. That's why you never see me just calling for alt season, right? Like, I need to see something happen on this chart. I need to see a harsh rejection out of this volume profile to really think that alt season is coming. We just had no sign for that yet, right? Even on total 3, right? We have to look at this very often. Total 3, rejected at the value area high. We need to get accepted into this for a potential alt season. What happens? Resistance. Could have bing-bonged around here and then reclaimed, but right now, it's coming on down, right? So, yeah. Alt's getting crushed, man. Alt's getting crushed. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's pull up the current chat here. Shout out to Dennis. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, gut feeling, new all-time high soon or late or summer fall. Shout out to Dennis. That's just not how not only not how I do my analysis, it's just like not, in my opinion, that's just not how things work, right? It's not, you can try to time things based off the cycle. That's really the only way that I'm able to time things, right? Like part of the reason why I expected the top to be in here, it wasn't just the timing of the cycle. It was the fact that, we had the weekly money flow coming up, crossing over into the red. We had also had massive bearish divergences, and really this weekly money flow was the big bearish signal, right? We came up, nice, perfect bear flag, weekly blood diamond on market cipher B, which we had never had in the past, but this weekly money flow is typically what indicates the bear market to come in. So with that, right, then I say to myself, well, hey, also, from a cycle perspective, we've had enough time for a bull market to play out, and it would make sense to go into the bear market here. However, if I saw signs on the chart of another pump coming in, I would ignore the timing, right? It's just not how, I would say like it's more gambling trying to guess like, you can expect it, but it can't be the only thing you look at. So for me personally, it's like, do I think an all-time? I don't really have much of an opinion, right? Because I just make my decision based off the chart. At the end of the day, even for the bear market to come in, we had enough time for the bear market to play out here from a cycle perspective. It would make sense for a bottom to come in here. But really, the reason I was confident that the bottom was coming in here was because of the weekly bullish divergence, I'm sorry. We even looked for this before price even came down here. We said, like, trying to predict when the bottom would come in or how the bottom would come in. We'd say, like, hey, a nice weekly bullish divergence between 12 and 14K would be nice. I don't care if it happens here, or it took a little longer and it happened here. I was looking for the technical signal, and more often than not, it happens in that ballpark timing of the cycle. But if I did not get the bull div here, I would have just expected lower, right? Yeah, it's really hard to call the timing, in my opinion. That's just not how I trade. It's not how I invest. And yeah, so it's really hard for me to say that really hard for me to like, it's like I just don't think it's as significant, right? If we get QE, right, like maybe that happens sooner, maybe it happens later, that's going to have an effect, right? So there's just like so much stuff that goes into it. So I wish I could give a clearer guess there. But for me personally, right, like if it looks bearish, right, like I might say, there's a point where I might just be like, no all-time high, right? So yeah, it's just really hard. That stuff's more good for like, in my opinion, unless you're using like time fib or something, it's just good for like clickbait, to be honest. Like new all-time high, like when I say new all-time high soon, it's all based off the technicals. It's not based off like a date. Because again, like every cycle has a different quirk, right? We made a new all-time high before the halving this cycle. That's never happened before, right? So you can never really go 100% based off that. I use the timing of the cycles, but it's 100% in confluence with the TA. And if I don't get those technical signals, I lean much more on the technicals. I wouldn't just be like, but we have to bounce because the all-time high has to come in at this month or whatever it is. If the technical signal's not there, I'm not looking for the move. So hopefully that helps you out. I know you're probably looking for like a direct answer. It'd be impossible for me to give one. It really depends on what the chart looks like. But let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Tony D. Said, smash that like button, everybody. Smash that like button, guys. Don't forget, every 100 likes we get gets you guys closer to winning some free crypto if we hit 1,000 likes. If we run it up to 1,000 likes, I'll give away 3 Frankie Candles hats on tomorrow's live stream and $100 in Solana. Let's see if we could do it. Tony, keep an eye on those likes. Let's get it. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, shout out to Patrick says, imagine all it takes is 2 tweets to crash the stock market and crypto market. What a time. Yeah, shout out to Patrick. What a time to be alive. Every time I go on Instagram, I'm just like, what? I think we might be ready for the meteors, guys. I'm not going to lie. But let's see here. Hang on. Let me phone a friend here because I was trying to get a special guest on the show here, which might make you guys feel a little better. Stay tuned if you want to see who the special guest is. Come on, Mrs. Candles. All right. She's just going to ignore me. Mrs. Candle's just ignoring me. Unbelievable. But yeah, shout out to Danny G says, is the green dot on the monthly invalidated? Let's pull it up because the one that we were looking at yesterday was on the Heikin-Ashi candles. We do still have it, right? And again, this is the it just goes like the emotion in the market is crazy, right? So this pullback right now from wick to wick is about 10%. This is not the most alarming thing ever, right? And again, that's why I like to stress, even if we did pull back all the way to 97K, 96K, 95K, 94K, maybe down to the value area low at around 91 to 90K, this does not mean that the bear market is here, right? It could, right, depending on what things look like when we get down there. But, we could see a correction here. We just had a massive pump of 50%. You could come down, right? You could come down, right? Nothing goes up in a straight line. Just like even here, right? It's like, oh my God, so exciting, so exciting. Oh my God, it's all over. Not necessarily, right? Market structure, when in doubt, zoom out, right? I know this feels like super scary. And again, I'll be the first person to tell you it could get scarier, right? But that does not mean that it's all over forever, right? It's the same thing here, right? Like the perfect example. Like this was horrible. Everybody was running in circles like that, like the building was on fire. It's okay, right? We have key support. We have the bullish confirmations. New all-time high was made. And that is the sentiment that we had throughout this entire drop down. Never once did I say this is the bear market, ever. Why? Because the charts didn't say that, right? If the charts did say that, I would be a little bit more worried. At the end of the day, we could have come down a little deeper here, and I still wouldn't have been worried. Right? It wasn't really until we started losing 68K that I was going to be like, oh, God, guys, this is really bad. So that monthly green dot is still printing, right? Again, maybe we don't have to go to 96K. Monthly green dot is still printing. 2-day money flow is still, attempting to come up here, right? We'll see what happens as this develops. But yeah, no, monthly green dot is still there. But again, it doesn't mean you can't continue to pull back a bit, right? So yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Michael S. I'm not scared, baby. My buy orders got hit today. Shout out to Michael S. Yeah, shout out to Inspector Chris. The more you leverage, the scarier it gets. Yes, absolutely. But don't over leverage. The leverage should not. Your leverage, if you are leverage trading, right? I talk about this a lot, and I got to drop a risk management video soon because I think a lot of people misunderstand this. You should not. I mean, it's not that you can't do this, right? But you just have to understand what you're doing, right? If you are in a long position, right, the amount of leverage that you use should not change the fact that you're going to get liquidated or not. You should not have to get liquidated unless you're willingly going to accept liquidation, right? Sometimes I'll take a degenerate trade, and I'll adjust my position size and just let that trade run. And if it gets liquidated, I treat it as a stop loss, right? But I'm adjusting my position size to account for that, right? You never just want to enter a position, jack up the leverage, and then be worried about liquidation. You should be using a stop loss, right? And this is, listen, if you want to gamble, that's totally fine, right? We're all adults here, right? You could do what you want. If I were to say I had never taken a risky degenerate trade, I'd be lying, right? So I can't say that. But, if you are looking to actually learn how to profitably and consistently trade, you should never be worried about liquidation. Number one, because you should be using a stop loss. And the only time you should be getting liquidated is, I got to drop this risk management video because, again, I really do think it's like whether I am in a 100x long, a 50x long, or 3x long, for the most part, right? I only like to risk 1 to 2% of my account, right? So if you have let's say you have a $100 account, $1 to $2 is all you should risk. Not meaning you can only put $2 on the trade. You could put your whole account on the trade for the most part. You can't put it all. It won't let you. But you can put half of your account on the trade. But if you get stopped out of that trade, you should only be losing 1 to 2% of your account. This is if you want to become a full-time trader, right? If you want to take some gambles once in a while, just understand the risk you're taking, right? If you jack up the leverage, you get liquidated, you're going to lose everything, right? It's very risky. But if you want to actually learn how to trade, right, whether I take a 100x trade or a 50x trade or a 20x trade, when I get stopped out, for the most part, I am only losing 1 to 2% of my account, right? And you can change that risk by adjusting your position size, right? I'm going to drop a video about that. But yeah, so make sure if you're sweating over liquidation, and I'm not saying I forgot who said that, but I'm not saying you're saying this. I'm just saying at the end of the day, it's you should never be sweating liquidation. If you're sweating liquidation like constantly, you're just doing it wrong, right? You should not be worried about that. You should be willing when you enter a trade. It tells you. If you get stopped out, you're going to lose this much money. So if you have $100 in your account and whether you enter a trade with 100x leverage, 50x leverage, 2x leverage, 1x leverage, doesn't matter. When you get stopped out of that trade, it'll say, if you get stopped out, you will lose X amount of money. Whatever that number is must be, if you're looking to build an account over time or, try to be a profitable trader, that number that you're going to lose if you get stopped out must be 1% of your account or 2% of your account if you want to be a little bit more risky, right? If you do that, you could take... You have to get stopped out of 99 trades in a row, right, to blow up your account. If you put $100 in your account, you put it on 100x leverage, and price sneezes to the downside, you're going to lose everything, right? That's how you blow up accounts. Trust me, I know from experience, guys. I've blown up more accounts. I could guarantee you I've blown up more accounts than anybody in this chat right now. Not that I'm proud of it, but yeah. Let's see. Let's continue on here. We will take a look at some of the altcoins, guys, but at the end of the day, it is... if Bitcoin continues down, the alts are going to continue to get wrecked. But I will cover some key support. Shout out to Saeed, says 1 to 2% risk in crypto, not possible, bro. Shout out to Saeed. It's 100% possible. I'm talking about day trades, right? I'm not talking about like my spot bags, right? Like I have altcoins down 50% right now. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like day trades, right? Or leverage accounts. My spot bags, 100%, right? Like if you enter into a spot bag, your dollar cost averaging into a coin, that in that case, definitely not the same thing. But I'm talking about if you're leverage trading and you're looking to build like a day trading account, that's typically a good risk management rule to follow, right? 1 to 2% of your account on each trade. Otherwise, you're just going to blow up your account. I'm not talking about spot bags. Let's see. I risked 99% of my portfolio. I'm still here. I'm lucky. Shout out to Samuel S. Let's see. Do you have to take profit when you move your stop loss? Shout out to Giga Longbottom. You don't have to. I do typically in most cases, right? Like, let's say I enter here, price comes up, I hit a target. I usually take profit, move my stop loss to break even. Why do I do that? Well, if I enter here, say I hit my first target, right? Once I get up there, take money off the table, move your stop loss to break even. You're now not only in a risk-free trade, you're in a guaranteed winning trade, right? Because you've already locked in money. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out at break even, and you already locked in money, right? So it's literally a guaranteed winning trade, whether it goes in your direction or not. If you don't take profit when you move your stop loss to break even, you're going to get stopped out for no loss, right? You only really have to pay fees, so you'll probably lose something. But, it just really depends, right? So, yeah, for me, more often than not, I will take profit and then move my stop loss to break even. That way, I will get stopped out in profit, just slowly making profit. Let's see. Shout out to Dremer said, listen to me, followed by, I've blown up more accounts than anybody here. Yeah, and that is what most people have to do, right? You have to learn, like, to be a successful trader, you have to learn through your mistakes, right? And for me personally, I am so thick-headed, guys. I was the worst person, right? I was chasing the trades. I was chasing the money. I was over-leveraging. I was not using any risk management. I was trying to find buy and sell indicators, and none of it worked, right? And I realized over blowing up so many accounts, right? Or blowing up an account, refilling it, blowing up an account, refilling it. It's through that you understand that it's like, hey, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same thing, expecting a different result, right? And at some point, it clicks where it's like, you know what? For me personally, I just got bored. It wasn't even like the pain was that bad. It was like, for me personally, I just got bored of just getting the same result. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Let me just try to like actually stop chasing the money and getting rich overnight, and let me just like slowly take money off the table, start moving my stop loss to break even, actually find a risk management strategy and follow it. And then it's through that, right? Like, so learn from my mistakes. This is why I always tell people, like, if my mistakes can help you learn faster or expedite your process to actually making money and not blowing up accounts, then my mistakes were not for nothing, right? So yeah. Shout out to Waffle Cones. I wouldn't even say he says the experience of blowing up an account is priceless, though. Not even priceless. I think it's almost necessary, right? For most people. Because I think even most people can learn from someone like me, right? But until they feel that pain, they're just still going to chase that money. It's a very difficult thing to do. Let's see. Every strike will get you closer to a home run. Yeah, shout out to Vegas Claw. You got to swing the bat 100 times before you start smashing home runs. Absolutely. Or even singles. Let's see. Do you ever add up in a losing trade to get out cheaper? Shout out to Django. I think what you're saying is, like, do you ever, like, the only time I will, like, average into a position is if I already plan on averaging into the position, right? I don't, like, if I'm in a losing trade, just adding to that position to, like, avoid liquidation is a very dangerous game. A very dangerous game. And then you just wind up losing more. A lot of times you'll wind up losing more than you would have if you just got liquidated on your original position. So definitely a very dangerous game. Let's see. If the fee you pay to the school, it's the fee you pay to the school of trading. Shout out to CK. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Because again, if you're using risk management rules, right? Let's say you risk 1% of an account, right? Like, again, you have to lose 99 trades in a row to blow up your account, right? And again, for example, I've done this so many times. I don't want to be repetitive here, but I mean, it's important, right? Let's say, you take 5 trades, right? This is why most people don't make money trading. I'm just going to give you the sauce right here. The reason most people don't make money trading is because they put their whole account on this trade and they have no stop loss. And their liquidation level gets hit and they blow up the account. Then they load more money in. They chase the money. They try to get rich overnight. They have no stop loss. Liquidate it again. They are losing money, right? And it's not even actually losing like that. It's more just like losing all their money. When you start using risk management, you're not going to get rich overnight, right? But this is the way. If you want to replace your job with full-time trading, there's no shortcut. The shortcut is the long way, right? There is no shortcut. It's just like the gym. I said this many times. You can't just go to the gym, watch a tutorial video, go to the gym one time, and you're just going to get buff. Doesn't matter how lucky you are. Doesn't matter how hard you work. Like, you have to do it consistently over time, right? You have to go through that pain, and you have to let time take its course, right? So when you use risk management, you can literally lose more trades than you win and still become profitable, right? Let's say you take a trade here, stopped out, small loss. You take another trade, stopped out, small loss. You're still in the game. The name of the game in trading is to stay in the game, right? So you lose a trade, stopped out. Then you hit a half TP here. You hit TP1 here, and then you get stopped out at break even. This will very likely cover the losses on these trades, if not at least one of them. Then you have another trade hit full TP. Now you're positive, right? And then you can even take another loss, and you're still probably positive depending on the actual setups, right? So, you can lose trades, and you would literally have to lose 100 of these to blow up an account, rather than trying to get rich overnight and just blowing up your entire account time and time again, right? You can lose, partial TP, full TP. Maybe this one runs. Then it makes you profit. It covers these losses and makes you profit, right? So the key is losing less than you're making, right? You would need to make sure your losses are smaller, and that's why risk management is so key. 1% to 2% of an account, right? And again, I'm not saying you can't just throw some money on, throw it on high leverage. You can, again, we're all adults here, right? You can gamble if you want. Just understand the risk with that. You're not going to be able to do that repeatably over time and just keep making money, unless you have like a very specific strategy for it or something. But most people just jump in. They see that they could turn their $100 into $1,000 with leverage, or $10,000 into $100,000 with leverage, and they just see dollar signs, right? And that's how they very quickly get wrecked. So yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Perry, said, "Hey Frankie, I'm surviving in trading. For me, it's level up. I'm not 100% profitable, but I evolved from last year." Shout out to Perry. And dude, that's oftentimes it takes people a year and a half, 2 years. I was probably closer to a year and a half, 2 years before I saw like any kind of started making any kind of money. Like it's but most people, to be quite honest, right? Like a majority of people, in my opinion, the reason the trading statistics are the way they are, where it's like 95% of them lose, is because 95% of people are not equipped with the discipline, the perseverance, the grit to actually stick something like this, stick through something like this through the hard times to see it through on the other end, right? It's very hard. You can't just make $5,000 in a day on the charts and make more than a brain surgeon by just like watching a tutorial and gambling, right? It's a pipe dream. You can do this. If I could do it, you guys can do it, right? I'm not special, but it takes hard work. I will not lie to the Candle Mafia. It takes hard work. It's not easy. It is not easy. It's one of the most challenging things you could possibly do. But if you could stick it through, it's one of the most rewarding things you could possibly do. But let's see. Yeah, shout out to Saeed said, don't you think the best entry is when you put it where other people's stop losses are? Yeah, absolutely. That's what a swing failure pattern is, 100%. It's one of my favorite setups. Which maybe we get of this. Maybe we get that, right? Again, what is the idea here? People longing the bottom of this range. Where's their stop loss going to go? If they're long in here, their stop loss is going to go below that low, right? All these longs in here, everyone who's like, oh, my God, we're going to get the big move up. Everyone longing here may still have their stop losses below these lows. So that's why when we look for swing failure patterns, we say, hey, inside this range, if there's many people longing, all their stop losses are probably going to go below the most recent lows. So once you get back down there, you come down. Once you start stopping out those longs, when you get stopped out or liquidated out of a long position, it creates a market sell. That's why you get those liquidation wicks. So once you stop those people out, that's where you get those swing failure patterns more often than not for a move back up. Could we get this on the 4 hour? Yes. But again, just scrub back to the beginning of the stream and you'll get my full thoughts on this. You could get the bounce, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We don't really have any bull divs or anything like that. I'm happy to miss out on that. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Independent, said conviction makes millionaires. Everybody in my family thought I was insane buying Bitcoin at 1 to 2K, 1K, 2K, and 3K. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Independent. Also taking the risk. Yeah, you gotta be able to take the risk. Thanks for the tips on the stop loss. Yeah, shout out to Kenny. 100%, bro. All right, so let's continue on here. Those are my full thoughts on Bitcoin. We just went over. Again, nothing goes down in a straight line. Biggest level of resistance here, 104,340 all the way up to the value area high at 105.7. If we do get a bigger bounce, this would be a big level to look at. But again, my overall thoughts, just scrub back to the beginning of the stream. If we do continue to move down, biggest levels of support, 100K. Could we bounce off 100K if we get down there? Yes, but if we lose that, once we lose $100,000, right, decisively, that's where I'm looking down to 96 to 95K or even 94K, this big zone here. But let's take a quick look at some of the altcoins. I'll be honest, guys, the altcoins, I'll go over some key support here. This is supposed to be blue. But yeah, I mean, Ethereum still, to be honest. Yeah, it's just like, it's funny, right? Like, people are like, oh my God, Ethereum dumped again, right? Like, Ethereum's just ranging here. Right? I'm not saying it can't dump more, but I'm just saying, like, we're just still within, within the bounds of this range, right? We tapped down to the, yesterday we looked at key support on Ethereum sitting here. Anchored VWAP, very key level. This does sit currently at about $2,444. Daily negative point of control sits at about 2,400, and then the POC is your biggest local level of support at about 2,320. If we, this is really the biggest zone, right? If you cannot hold this for another move up and Bitcoin continues to dump and Ethereum is likely to follow, lose this POC, value area low is that next big level. These levels remain exactly the same. The only difference here is yesterday we looked at this zone and now we're just sitting there, right? So this still does remain true. If we lose this daily MPOC, look to go to the POC of the range. Once you start losing that, value area low is the next key level at $2,100. Other than that, could still look at this local range. Value area low sitting at about 2,477. POC sitting at 2,610. Value area high at 2,650. Other than that, let's take a look at the higher time frames here. 5-day red dot looking to print. 6-day red dot looking to print. 4-day red dot is printing. I mean, these are just signs of continued pullbacks, right? But again, this is where everyone gets emotional. Key support at the value area low. I would say, even if you do pull back, pull up the Fibonacci retracement from the impulse that broke this high, push us into the range. Golden pocket. These are like the bigger key levels, right? Again, I might, if we have those high time frame red dots play out and we lose the POC, I would be bearish for a move down, not bearish for zero necessarily. Although ETH does like to go to zero sometimes. But once you lose that POC, just understand in the grand scheme of things, we've gotten to move up, right? It's so funny that it's like, once you get a move up, it's like the second we pull back a little bit, like just look at this. Massive move up, little pullback, right? And again, I'm not saying it can't get worse, but it's like everyone starts to get freaked out on these pushes to the downside. It's like we just had a massive move up. It's okay. Price ebbs and flows, right? Even if we come down to this golden pocket, this is support. That could be a higher low for a higher high. I always compare this back here. Very similar to back here. We got above the value area low. POC was the next likely place for price to go. You pull back, hold the value area low, continuation up. Similar to what we could see happen here. And even if we slip back below this value area high or value area low, 786 daily naked point of control about 1960, still a key level of support. I don't really want to break this consolidation here at 1800. Once we start losing that $1,800 consolidation zone, you could bounce off the 786 potentially, but I just wouldn't like that. I'm okay seeing a higher low here. I'm okay seeing a higher low here. Once you start breaking that, it gets a little bit more bearish in my opinion. But again, we'll approach that if and when we do get there. But again, high time frame red dots oftentimes give you continuations down. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Celinda. Says weekly and monthly inverse head and shoulders on Ethereum. I don't know if you're talking about Ethereum or Bitcoin. Again, I'm not a huge pattern guy. I don't really see it. I don't really see it on either. Let me know what you're looking at. I'll try to find it for you. But yeah. Let's see. This feels more like a stock than crypto. Shout out to Batty. I'm not sure 100% what you mean by that. Maybe by the lack of volatility, potentially. Let's see. You will use a Tesla robot to place trades before 2033. Thank me later. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. I would actually agree with that. They actually had a when I was picking up Mrs. Campbell's car at the Tesla dealership, we were sitting there and they had a Optimus bot, I think is what it's called, sitting there. And wow, is that what they're called? But they had one there, and it was creepy. It was creepy. But I don't know. Sign me up. And when those things come out, I will get one. Maybe it kills maybe it kills me in my sleep, but you bet your bottom dollar I'll be getting one of those. Thoughts on shorting Fartcoin? Let's take a look. I'm gonna take a look at Fartcoin in a second, but real quick, here we are, guys. As we know, next key level on Solana. And again, guys, it only seems crazy until we get there, right? This is the level that we were looking at as price was up here. Trying to front run. I might change the way I do these live streams. Because I think sometimes I look too far forward where it's like, I have to understand that like not a lot of people are going to be willing to even entertain the idea you could go back down to 143 when we're up here. And it's, it just seems crazy when I'm talking about it. And then when we get there, it's kind of like, oh. But yeah, I think maybe I should just go more local on these live streams because I don't know. I don't know. I mean, these are the two major key levels. We look to come down here to the value area high, POC confluence with the 786. Look for the bounce. We got a little bit of a bounce. If that didn't hold, we were looking down to come towards that POC at 143. What do we have down here? 8-hour bullish divergence. This is what we were talking about recently on the live stream for a lot of the altcoins. Lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves. If we were able to get that bullish divergence here, bounce off the POC. If I pull this fib a little bit lower here to the impulse, no confluence there. Let's pull it to here. Yeah, I would say this value area low POC, definitely key support. Too soon to say if this bullish divergence is going to print. But here we are. This is the next support level. If we lose this, guys, the next stop for Solana is likely going to be the value area low, 126.80. That's what I would look for. As of right now, on these big drops to the downside, you do potentially have an opportunity to put in a 4-hour bull div here. Maybe. Lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves. Again, money flow not looking super confluent. Come on down to some of the lower time frames. Yeah, you don't have any local bull divs down here as well. Again, doesn't mean you can't bounce, but I would prefer to see some kind of consolidation down here, right? Not really that interested in catching knives in this environment right now. I would rather see some kind of consolidation and then maybe some entry triggers to look for another move up. But there we go, right? We've been looking at this level literally all the way since up here. But it just seems crazy. But here we are, right? So, yeah, that's what I'll be looking at on Solana. Take a look at the 2-day VWAP kind of wonked out there. High time frame red dots. 6-day red dot, 5-day red dot, confirmed. Weekly red dot. I mean, is this a blood diamond? No. Is it a Heikinashi blood diamond? No. Okay, that's good. That's good news. But, yeah, weekly red dot printing. Honestly, money flow coming out pretty aggressively as well here. That's bearish, right? I'm not saying that you can't bounce, right? I'm not saying you can't get a fake out here, but, I mean, that weekly red dot is now printing. We still have 3 days and 2 hours to confirm it. If that stays on the chart, the move down could continue. The next key levels I would look at, very simply, would be the value area low at $126. Lose this POC, looking down towards $126. Where you do have the golden pocket confluence. This is your full golden pocket retracement. Sitting between... Come on down to a lower time frame here. Sitting between 130.31 and 126.77. Simple volume profile game. Deviate above the highs, right? You kind of bing-bonged around here, which kind of stinks, right? Because obviously, if you reclaim value area the value area low above, the next target was the POC at 216.90, 100%. Once you get below the value area high, the next targets were here and here, right? So if we don't get the bounce off the POC, which again, maybe we get the 8-hour bull div, but if we lose that POC, next big level to look at would be the macro golden pocket retracement value area low between 130.31 and 126.77. We'll see what happens at this point of control. But yeah, that's what I'll be looking at on Solana. Shout out to Pennywise in the chat. Welcome in, bro. Yo, shout out to Golden Child. Said when Frankie sucks his teeth, you know it's bearish. Yeah. Shout out to Tony D. Tony D, can you update the thumbnail on the chart picture? Tony D charted our thumbnails. Not that you should ever trade the Frankie Candles thumbnails as signals. Ever. Ever. Nothing I say is financial advice. I could say it goes down and it goes up, and that does happen sometimes. But if you overlay our thumbnails over the chart, it's pretty crazy. Pretty wild. I'll just say that. But anyway, let's see here. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Said, fam, I got to go take my buddy out for a B-Day drink. Love y'all. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you and have fun. And yeah, be careful. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Thank you for being here. CandleMafia Mama. Salud. Have a beer for me. Have a beer for me, Cap. We'll take a look at Litecoin. Love my Ada and Min. Shout out to Johnny December, baby. Shout out to Johnny December. Welcome in, bro. I think you've been here, but shout out to Dave Digital tuning in. What is going on, Dave? Welcome in. I'm shout out to Awesome Zav, Awesome X Zav. Says, hey, Frankie, I'm really worried about my Cardano. Could you please settle my mind so I can sleep? I really screwed up. Shout out to Awesome. I love the accountability there. I actually mean that. I think it's important. I think it's most people lack, right, is the accountability, right? They just think like, oh, I got scammed. There are a lot of scams out there. But, it's like, hey, when you buy, if you buy when it's pumping, it's it's very hard for most people to be like, hey, I shouldn't have bought the top. Most people just be like, someone told me this was going to pump. Or, Cardano, Litecoin. I'm going to check out XRP as well. And Sui. Sip. Boom. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to, guys, I'm trying to get a special guest here on the show. But Mrs. Candles is just not having it. Come on, Mrs. Candles. Shout out to Anonymous. Welcome in. 23K Bitcoin by tomorrow. Shout out to Vegas Claw. Mrs. Candles is just, Mrs. Candles is just slamming on me. This is wild. All right, well, maybe no special guests tonight, guys. Unbelievable. All right, let's continue on. Could we see a small short squeeze to 102K? Yeah, definitely. I mean, nothing goes down in a straight line. Could you see a short squeeze to 102K? Yeah, I mean, I think that would be, I would expect some kind of a bounce, even if we're going to continue down, right? Like, that's the key. Just because we're bearish does not mean you continue down a straight line, right? Like, you have to ebb and flow here. I would say 102.4 is your hyper local golden pocket. 786 is about 103K. Definitely a I mean, that would definitely be an area I would be looking at. Pull up exo charts really quickly here, and then we'll jump back into the altcoins real quick. Yeah, I mean, let's see. There's Mrs. Candles. Oh, and Mama Candles. All right, guys, real quick. Guys, I don't know if this is going to make you guys feel better about Bitcoin dumping, but real quick. Look at this little thing. Look at this little thing. Look at this. Say hi to the CandleMafia. What do you think? Bitcoin up or down? They won't be able to see him. Oh, I just hit his head. Guys, if he can't pump Bitcoin, nobody can. Nobody can. Take a sniff. Hang on. Smells good. Why does he smell like that? Come on. Come on, Angel. Pump Bitcoin. If he can't pump it, guys, nobody can. Nobody can. It's not my dog, unfortunately, guys. Not my dog. There we go. We are the official. Oh, he's shaking. We are the official dog crypto channel, sponsored by pups everywhere. He's shaking. He's so tiny. Look at him. He's so small. He's so small. I love you, buddy. All right. Thank you for letting us borrow him.
Thank you.
That's Mama Candle's new dog. I don't want to scream. I think I scared him because I'm yelling. Well, thank you for bringing him. Hopefully he pumps Bitcoin. Oh, goodbye. I love you. Find another crypto streamer that will kiss his mother on stream. I love you, Mom. I have no shame when it comes to family, guys. But anyway, get home safe. Anyway, continuing on here, guys. Looking at exo charts. You're scaring him. Yeah, I did scare him, guys. How cute is that dang dog? Did you upset the family last night with them ghosting you? Shout out to Curtis Reese. Yeah, maybe I did. This is the GOAT Crypto channel. You're right. You're right. We're sponsored by dogs. We are the GOAT Crypto channel. Yeah. Oh my God. I wish that was my dog. He's so cute. Anyway, let's continue on here, guys. So yeah, I mean, listen. You would have to assume, right? If you're going to. So this is kind of how I think of short squeezes, right? If you do have liquidity sitting above, so really what you want to see here is you want to see shorts entering late, right? So you want to see the net shorts coming up, which obviously, you got some shorts in here. You could zoom in on these candles, try to see, 2.5 million, almost a million. Right, so anybody shorting down here, where are their stop losses going to go, right? You have to assume that their stop losses, a little bit of an advanced lesson, right? Their stop losses are going to go above the previous highs, right? Stop losses here. Stop losses here. So as price comes up, right, let's say we get accepted into this local value area, right, you start pushing up. You can assume that once you start cracking into these levels, right, maybe those shorts start to get a little bit wrecked. Again, I would have to, take a little bit of a deeper look at this. But, short squeeze, if you just want to look at the candlestick chart and you do assume that, people are shorting the bottom here, I would say on a lower time frame, stop loss here. All right, start squeezing them up. We could try to figure out where those stop losses are, maybe by looking at a local heat map. But let's see. Let me load up the local heat map here. Shout out to XRP Belgium said you eliminated my super chat. I don't think we can eliminate super chats. Oh, shout out to XRP Belgium. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you so much. He says, could you pull up the global liquidity market and compare? We should start chasing the banana zone. Yeah, shout out to XRP Belgium. Yeah, I should have gotten that ready. I'll try to take a look at that today. I do think a lot of people are looking at. It's not that simple, I think, in my opinion, right? I'll try to take a look at that. Shout out to XRP Belgium. If I can't look at it today, let me write that down in case we can't look at it today. Boom. I'll try to remember that. Maybe I can make a video about that because I do think a lot of people are chasing the wrong thing. Yeah, it's very, very difficult to I don't think it's that black and white. I know it's been that black and white in the past, but I think a lot of people are looking at the wrong thing. I'll try to pull it up because you can overlay it on the chart. Make sure I didn't miss any other super chats. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's continue on here real quick. So yeah, we took a look at Solana, took a look at Ethereum. Let's take a look at XRP really quickly. Boom. Well, here we are. Value area low. Guys, the volume profiles will literally, once you use them, you can never not use them again. Even as other altcoins were not looking the same, XRP came up, tapped into the value area high, bearish divergences into that value area high, the next likely place for price to go, regardless of what Twitter says, regardless of what anybody who says they feel bullish says. More often than not, the likely next target for price is the POC. Once you lose that POC, it does not matter if everyone thinks it's going to pump, all-time highs incoming, alt season, unless you have technical signals, it is more probable that you're going to get a bounce and flip this POC and get a massive move up. The higher probability move is to get a move down to the value area low. Here we are. Bada boom. These value areas are literally going to take my job, guys. Literally going to take my job. But here we are. Next, we're at our next key support. Value area low, golden pocket confluence. This is the full golden pocket retracement from the low to the high. Very, very important support. Potential 4-hour bull div into this key zone. Higher lows, lower lows. This is not, I wouldn't necessarily anticipate new all-time highs, right? But even if you push down into that golden pocket, deviate below the low, you could at least look for a reclaim of the value area low and a retracement, or not even a retracement, but a return back to your POC. Flip the POC, go back to the value area high. Once price gets up there, if things start to look good, you could potentially look for a breakout. If things look bearish, everybody will be bullish regardless, right? Because price went up. When price goes up, people get bullish, right? But they don't get bullish until after price goes up. So everyone will get bullish at the high. If the charts are looking bullish, then you can look for a bigger breakout. However, if it looks bearish, everyone's still going to be bullish, and we could look for a return back into the range, back to the POC, back to the value area low. All right? Unless you can find key levels and reasons to look for a bounce off the POC, you would just look for the complete rotation of that range, which is exactly what happened here. Same thing on the way up. We flip the value area low to support. Next likely place for price to go is the POC. Oh my God, it's dumping. What the heck? I thought we were supposed to go to the POC. Boom. You get the POC, get above the POC, go to the value area high. I cannot overstate how important it is to learn about volume profiles, guys. I wish I invented them. Because I am like a shameless used car salesman for volume profiles, and there's a reason for it. There's no other trading tool that will be this high probability. There's about an 80% chance if you lose a volume profile and get reclaimed that you will get a rotation to the POC in the value area high. I think that rule, that 80% rule, is really just based off of daily profiles, but I would say, through my experience, it's the same thing for any profile. Once you get acceptance in the range, I would say there's about an 80% chance for a move at least to the POC, if not full rotation of the value area high. But here you go. This next zone of support sits at between about $1.97 to $2.06. And even when we were up here, right? Like anytime we bring up lower levels, guys, people just don't like that, right? Like people do not want to hear that. But I don't care, right? Like we're just going to bring up the highest probability situations, right? And here we are once again with the TA playing out. So yeah, hopefully we can hold this. If you lose that golden pocket, 786 at $1.83. If you lose that 786 at $1.83, you're definitely at risk of coming down to your previous value area high at $1.67. Lose this. Ugh. And again, it's the same thing down there, right? I'm not saying you have to go down here, right? Again, we can get the bounce off the golden pocket, and then maybe we get the bigger move up. That would be nice. You could still put the higher low in here and the higher low in here. Once you lose that 786, $1.66 is very likely. Once you get accepted into this range, there will be a very high probability that you will go down to the POC. If you lose the POC, very high probability you go down to the value area high. Just like this, just like that. So there you go. That's the next key support on XRP. I would watch this 4-hour bull dip for a potential bounce, especially at that key support. But again, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for $1 million. I would at least, take a look at the higher time frames, daily red dot printing. So again, you have to keep in mind the overall confluence and context here. I would prefer the golden pocket tapped, to be honest. But at the end of the day, if you get a 4-hour bull div to confirm, you might be able to get a little bit of a bounce. But again, after these big drops to the downside, I like to see a little bit of consolidation just to get, a little bit of a better handle on things. See, 2-day VWAP, 3-day money flow back in the red. I mean, this is just generally more bearish, right? This would indicate that the trend is more likely to continue to the downside, plain and simple. Can you get the fake out back into the green? Sure. But as of right now, that money flow is in the red. So we would have to anticipate a longer term continuation to the upside, right? Doesn't mean you can't bounce, but the overall continuation would be looked at a higher probability to the downside. So if we bounce here, you got to be real careful around that golden pocket 786 zone, POC confluence. Could be the lower high. But as of right now, you're hitting support. This is in no reality would I ever short at support like that, right? It doesn't mean it can't break down. I just would never short there. It's low probability. The shorts are to be had up here when we were tapping the value area high with the 4-hour bearish divergences that we were looking at as we were pushing into that level. Push into the value area high, higher highs on price, into the key level of support, resistance, lower highs, drop to the downside, fill the range, bada boom. So there you go. So yeah, if you do get the bounce, I would be, next major target would be the POC if you could even get up there. But I'd be careful with that red dot as of right now. I'd be sitting on my hands for the long, especially for longs on altcoins. Let's see. Shout out to Uncle Sam. Said, I predicted Bitcoin will drop. No one listened to me. Shout out to Uncle Sam. Let's go. Creates good opportunities for the shorts. Dang right, baby. Dang right. We're going to hold that short position. Let's go. But there we go. This is great. Shout out to Brian Varney. Said, this is great. I love low prices. Me too, bro. Me too. Shout out to Base Bailey. Said, Frankie, can you flip the alt season switch on? We know it's over. There will... we know it's over there with the crystal ball. Shout out to Paste Bailey. Yeah. Listen, I do have some alerts set here on, I forget actually where it is. I have an alert here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, this expired. I got to turn this back on. Alt season alert. I have an alert here, guys. Is everything okay? Open-ended alert. There we go. Alt season alert. It is on. Bear market warning. I got to update this one too. This one expired. All right, there we go. I got bear market and alt season warnings here. We'll see if they go off. Yeah, shout out to Wick5. Wick's wife 589 said Elon versus Trump dogfight is just more market manipulation. Would not be surprising. All right, let's continue on here. Let's take a quick look at Litecoin. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. 1,000 likes. We will be giving away $100 in Solana, or Solana, as some people like to call it, on tomorrow night's live stream. And 3 hats. 1,000 likes, baby. Let's hit it. All right, let's see. Shout out to Nova FPV, said, how do you draw the volume profiles correctly? We have a ton of tutorial videos on the channel. You got to watch through all those to learn everything about the volume profiles in the beginner series. Start there, and you will be up to date with everything that we look at here on the live stream. All right, let's see here. Litecoin. Let's take a look at Litecoin real quick. I'm glad I checked those alerts, because we would have never gotten that alert, and we would have been sitting here like, oh my God, alt season's never going to come. I'm kidding. I would not have just waited for the alert. It's just nice to know when stuff happens. All right, let's see here. Where's Litecoin? Where's Litecoin? Am I blind? All right, let's take a look at Litecoin real quick. All right, yeah, so first level of support here. Local golden pocket 786. We actually took a look at this. This was already tapped. We got a little bit of a bounce, and then we wound up getting the drop to the downside. So this is now lost. We are now also losing our uptrend or anchored VWAP from the bottom of this downtrend. This will be a very key level to, I would say, honestly, the POC. And again, like even this, yeah, I mean, I would say the anchored VWAP POC between 88 and 92.40. Like this would be a big level to reclaim. If you can't get above this level, I would, yeah, I mean, you definitely want to reclaim this anchored VWAP. And to be honest, if we pull the anchored VWAP from the high here, yeah, if we do come back up, this might be confluent as well. So I would say definitely 88 to 92.43, big level to get above. But we can't reclaim this anchored VWAP here. Could get the bigger continuation down. I will pull the full golden pocket 786 retracement. So next key level, in my opinion, will be, pull up the daily time frame here real quick. Yeah, we do have a daily here. Do I have this marked out? I do not. We do have a daily. Yeah, I mean, daily red dot is printing, so I would be careful. Check, do we have a daily MPOC on that golden pocket? Just underneath it. So we do have a daily MPOC right here. Got another one right hither. Yeah, you also have another one, another MPOC right here as well. That's confluent with that. Yeah, it's almost the same. Okay, so I would say your next big level of support, golden pocket. You know, you do have the daily MPOC just underneath that as well. And then you have the 786 daily MPOC right here. So, yeah, next big levels of support. I mean, I don't like that we lost this anchored VWAP, pulled from the low here. But at the end of the day, if we do continue down, golden pocket daily MPOC, that would be an area to look at for a potential higher low. Lose that golden pocket daily MPOC. 786 daily MPOC is next. Once you lose that, you're probably going to put in a new low here, in my opinion, coming down to this macro value area low at about 60.64. Still opportunity to bounce. Lose this. Yikes. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, volume profile will rise. Flip the low, go to the POC, back to the high. Deviate the high, back into the range. I don't know. I wouldn't say that value area low is off the table. But obviously, we have to keep in mind that we do have these local supports here. So that's what I would look at. We are holding the, attempting to hold the daily here. No low time frame bullish divergences. You're going to have to let price action settle here. We're trying to reclaim that daily, though. So I would, yeah, we lose that daily. I'd be looking down towards 79.89 to 76.20. Lose that. Looking down to about 72.39 to 7.01. Yeah, 79.89 to 76.20 is the first zone. Second zone, 72.39, 70.01. Yikes. Take a look at the higher time frames. 3-day money flow crossover into the red. Again, I mean, this would be I would say, unfortunately, this is not out of the cards. This is a local 786 confluent with that value area high, and like your 3-day money flow crossing over into the red here, if I just hide all this TA and just start from scratch, I mean, your overall, yeah, 3-day, I mean, higher time frame here. Pull that fib from the lower high to the low. Probably would have preferred to come up a little bit higher, to be quite honest. But, yeah, I wouldn't. High, low, lower, high, lower, low. 3-day money flow continues into the red. I mean, this would make you anticipate the continuation of the downtrend. Let's just keep that in mind. I know it seems crazy to look at these lower levels, and maybe I'm weeks ahead of time, right? Maybe a lot of times we will show these levels a little bit early. But if we don't bounce here or here, I would say this is definitely in the cards, not only from a volume profile perspective and not just from understanding that losing the 786 would invalidate the idea of an uptrend continuing, but just based off the overall money flow on the 3-day with this market structure. Ew, I don't like that. But yeah, so I would say pray for that bounce off the golden pocket and the 786. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on LTC, baby. Yo, shout out to DMB Smurf said, I'm 1 hour behind and watching at 4X Frankie. Fun time. Shout out to DMB Smurf. That is a task only for the boldest. Shout out to DMB Smurf. Drummer said, pull that fib, baby. Guys, if you're pulling your fib, make sure you pull it in privacy. Do not pull it in public. All right, so there is Litecoin. Let's go ahead and take a look at Cardano as well. Cardano back to its value area low. Keep the daily MPOCs. Let's get my bearings here. Current, mini range. So yeah, higher time frame. We can get rid of these. We actually talked about this already. This level was lost. Losing the major anchored VWAP here. Yeah, value. I mean, here very clearly. Next key level of support. Let's pull the full fib from the high to the low. You're hitting that golden pocket. I would say underneath this value area low, daily MPOC 786. I mean, to be quite frank with you guys, 786 is a level I wouldn't want to lose. What is this? I'm not 100% sure what that is. I'm going to get rid of that. So I would say, yeah, I mean, you lose that 786. Sure, you have the daily MPOC down below, but you lose that 786, guys. I'd be looking for new lows to come. But you are coming down to support, right? So you just want to be careful. You know, at the end of the day, technically, between the golden pocket, right, from the low to the high, golden pocket to the 786, that's what you want to hold. You lose that, sure, you have a daily MPOC, but I don't know. You don't want to lose that 786. I'd be looking down towards about 43 cents. So, yeah, you're praying to hold inside this range. As long as you hold within the range, you're okay, right? Because that keeps the doorway open back to the PLC and potentially back up to the highs. But you lose that 786. Even if you deviate below, that's okay, but you lose that 786, boom. I'd be looking down towards 43 cents. Hide the current range. And I would look at the mini range down below. You could use this as your guide down to lower prices. Get accepted into this local range. POC is next. Lose the POC. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'll be honest. Like 3-day money flow, 4-day money flow in the red. Like, yeah, I don't really love it. Yeah, I mean, and you come back down to 43 cents. You come back down to 43 cents. That's really where you want to bounce. It's the macro 786. You can't, and then even there, like you bounce off the 786, you're below the value area high. Not the best look. Not the best look in my opinion. You would really want to hold that level. But right now, I would say locally, I'll just give you the local levels. We don't have to get ready for a massive drop just yet. This is your key support between 64 cents and 58 cents. Hold above that. You have an opportunity to come back in the range. Once you lose it, I'd be looking for a bigger drop to the downside. Yikes. 6-day red or weekly red dot is confirmed. Yeah, we'll see what happens. That's your key support for sure, though. You're losing. I hate that we're losing this anchored VWAP, though. Let's see here. Shout out to Django. Says Bit Unex down again. Shout out to Django. I don't use Bit Unex, but that is like the maybe third time, fourth time I've seen that in chat over the past couple of months. Interesting. I wouldn't know. I don't use Bit Unex, not because I don't like them or anything. I wouldn't know because I don't use them. Let's see. I'm prepared for everything. Shout out to Jesse. That's the beautiful thing about being a trader. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to AP Prez says, yo, Frankie, you my guy. Thanks for all the insight. Yeah, no problem, bro. We're here every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys appreciate the free content, smash that dang like button. If we get 1,000 likes, we'll be giving away $100 in Solana. Let's go. TRX blasted off. Let's check it. Shout out to Diaz. Let's see. Interesting. This always moves very interestingly. I believe this is what we were looking at last time. Yeah, this thing is, what the heck is going on with Tron? This is weird. Hey, held value area low. I don't even know. This is like super. We haven't looked at this in a while, I guess. Let's see here. 786 gave you a little resistance. I mean, you broke above the 786. I mean, very similar to anything else that we look at, right? If I just get all this off the chart except for the golden pocket and the 786, it would be, if you're pulling from the lower high to the lower low, push into the golden pocket, your area for rejection is between the golden pocket and the 786. You got a little correction, and then you flip above that. Not too bad. The next significant fib retracement I would look at would be, yeah, I mean, you would look at the full retracement as well. I mean, this thing is super, this thing always moves like, what is this? November 2020 into 2021 bull run. Yeah, I would say the biggest level to get above on Tron. Honestly, I mean, this is kind of a wonked out wick, but technically, your golden pocket 786 sitting right here. Whoops. Yeah, sitting right here at about 39 cents. Could be a big level to look at. Let's pull up the MPOCs real quick. Weekly MPOC sitting right here. No confluence. Yeah, I would say 786 weekly MPOC, golden pocket. I mean, this would kind of be a whole zone, to be honest. So I would look at that as a whole zone. And then you do have your weekly MPOC right up here as well. I mean, these are higher, much higher targets. I mean, I don't really know what's going on with Tron right now. But you also do have a daily MPOC right here. So these would be some of the next targets I would look at. Let's see. Yeah. Daily MPOC 786. You're tapping the 786 already. But these would be the next targets to the upside, in my opinion. Daily MPOC at 29 cents, weekly MPOC at 32 cents, and then you do have the, pull that full golden pocket 786 one more time. Golden pocket 786 sitting right here between about 39 cents and 35 cents. Those would be the next targets I would watch to the upside. And yeah, I don't know why this thing is taking off. That is interesting. 3-day green dot looking to print. Money flow definitely still trending to the downside. 4-day VWAP. Yeah, interesting. You have your 6-day and your weekly red dots looking to print. So, yeah, I don't know if this is like a scam to the upside or if you're just going to get this thing to fake out all the red dots and continue up. But these are definitely the next key levels I would look at. Next target locally, 28 to 29 cents. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Pennywise said, anybody ever get into Pautherium? Shout out to the dogs out there. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Owl says the greatest. Shout out to Crypto Owl. Appreciate you, bro. We need more puppy. Unfortunately, my mom just headed out. So the puppy is gone, guys. We got to get our own puppy. What's good? What's good? Shout out to David M. Welcome in, bro. Fartcoin thoughts. I'm thinking a short. Let's check out Fartcoin. Let's see here. Whoops. Let's see here. So, I mean, very clean. Value area low flip. I mean, even here, you flip it, POC, flip the value area low again, back up to the value area high, deviation above, higher highs on price action, lower highs on your daily momentum waves, giving you that bearish divergence, back in, acceptance into the range, right down to the POC. Crazy, honestly, how technical Fartcoin is trading, right? You can just see here, like, how that volume profile played out. Back in, POC, one more slip to the low, back to the POC, flip the POC right to the high. You play around with the high just a little bit, deviation above with beautiful high time frame bearish divergences, at least on the daily. You got the 2-day too? Yeah, 2-day bear divs. As you deviate above that range, once you deviate above that volume profile, this is where you are looking at prices overvalued. This is where everyone's saying, oh my God, it's going to $1 million. This is where you're saying, only if you see those bearish confirmations. Nah, I ain't a sucker. I ain't going to long the top of that thing. I'm looking for the short. And then on that short, you would be looking for the drop into the value area high, lose the value area high, move down to the POC, and you can just see how tactical these volume profiles can be. Stuck into the range, acceptance, right to that point of control. Where are you getting the bounce? Right from the POC. So I would say, let's see. Let's pull a fib here. I would say your next key level of resistance is being tapped right now. It would be your 786 golden pocket. Sometimes Fartcoin moves on its own kind of clock, so I would be careful here. Sometimes Fartcoin just rips for no reason, but you do have a 4-hour bull div printing here. Let's take a look at the daily. Yeah, daily green dot looking to print. I would say overall, right, if you get stuck inside this value area and you can't get out of this 786 value area high, you could look for a continuation back to the POC and then lose that POC and go back to the low. But to be quite honest, with the daily green dot looking to print, with the 4-hour bullish divergence printing, I wouldn't say like it's super bullish for a massive rip up, but I would definitely be a little bit careful. Like 2-hour money flow. Yeah, I would say if you're going to get a rejection, this would be the area to do it at. But because of the daily green dot and the 4-hour bullish divergence, you flip that 786, you could be going a little bit higher. In which case, I would look at your... Yeah, I would look at this as a separate range. You have your next little range up here. So I'll just give you the key levels of resistance. First key level between the golden pocket and the 786, between about 107 and 113. And then we have the value area high, POC, value area low. Let's pull the full golden pocket retracement. Yeah, honestly, kind of similar to Bitcoin, where you have the POC golden pocket confluence above near 108.5 to 110K with the 786 and the value area high confluence. So you have the golden pocket POC, and then you have the 786 value area high. So these would be like the biggest resistance levels that I would be paying attention to on Fartcoin. So if you are going to continue to get accepted into this range, you have your high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, continue down to that value area low. If you break out here, I would look up to this value area low. This is going to be resistance until proven otherwise. Once you get up, potential rejection, potential rejection. So these are going to be the key levels I would look at. Check the lower time frames. I would 24-minute money flow crossover into the green with an 8-hour bull div. This is what we were looking at on the altcoins yesterday. Bullish divergences on the 8-hour into those key levels of support. And like even on Cardano, right? Like lower lows, higher lows. If you get that 8-hour bull div, you might be able to get the bounce. I would just be careful with the way the higher time frame money flow looks. This would look for a continuation to the downside. But that 8-hour bullish divergence might be what to look for into the key levels of support. That might be what to look for on the altcoins for some kind of a bounce. But until proven otherwise, guys, those bounces could be somewhat weak for lower highs and lower lows. Let's do one more check-in on Bitcoin real quickly. Oh, wait, shout out to Pennywise. Paw Ethereum is a real coin. I thought you were joking. Said it was... an animal shelters charity coin. I threw them a bone every once in a while. Shout out to Pennywise. Interesting. Is that real? Let me know. But let's see here. One more check-in on Bitcoin. Yeah, still just kind of wiggling its way up here a little bit. But yeah, like I said, guys, I am not currently long. Like I said, if we do get the bounce here with the SFP of this low, this is something we've been looking for. But again, I am not really, like the way things look like down here, I'm not that excited about it. So whether we, just remember, if we do continue up, biggest level of resistance to look at on Bitcoin is going to be the value area high. Golden Pocket 786 confluence between 105,750 and 104,308. Get above that. Once you get above the 786 value area high, which again, I wouldn't think it's the highest probability that that's going to happen. But if you did get above there, that's where we look up towards these larger levels, creeping up towards about, get rid of this level because we've already rejected that. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to cover every single level. I think that's, like, honestly does us more, I think covering too many levels is just kind of overwhelm people. So I'll just say this. If we get the push into, this is the biggest level of resistance. If you can't get above there, that would be a higher probability of lower highs and lower lows if we even get that retracement. And if we do, for the bigger continuation down, scrub back to the beginning of the stream. I give you guys my full thoughts on exactly what I'm looking for. If we get that bigger continuation down within the volume profile, POC zone would be next, sitting between about 97 and 94K at this golden pocket. We'll have to assess these as two separate levels. Lose that, we're on our way down to the value area low where we have more confluence. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Until then, I'm going to go ahead and hold that short position and hopefully continue to profit. But I am not currently long right now. If we miss it, if I miss that long, again, I'm not really too worried about it because I just don't think there's a high probability of that being the massive move. If it is, we'll catch an entry on the way up. I'll get stopped out and profit on the short, and we'll find a new entry. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Curtis Lee, said, Frankie, how many times per day does somebody say it's pumping or dumping for you to check the chart and it's a 0.01% move? Curtis Reese, probably 100. It's like I always see like, oh my God, Bitcoin's dumping. And I pull up the chart and I'm like, it's like a tiny little pullback. This obviously we already covered, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Shout out to Dave Digital, said, will you cover Avicii's levels? Shout out to Dave Digital. I'm just going to pop up on the fake out, just like covering it, like musically. But shout out to Dave Digital. Crypto Billy says, right when I think I have mastered trading, I get smoked, Frankie. This morning was a beat down for me, but I did learn a lot. Shout out to Crypto Billy. I'm sorry to hear that. Dang, what happened, brother? I assume longs. But yeah, let me know. But all we could do, Billy, right? If you want to hit me up and ask me questions, please do. But yeah, I would like to know kind of what happened. But yeah, a lot learned. That is the important part. Obviously, we cannot win every single trade. And shout out to Crypto Billy. I took a small loss on a scalp long today. And to be honest, it was a little painful for me because I was even telling the premium Discord, like, I don't really like the way Market Cipher B looks. It looks kind of bearish. I'm going to take a knife catch here. And the reason for that was only because we did get an SFP Where is it? $103,000. We did get a little SFP, which was something we were waiting for. Now again, did not like the way that Market Cipher B was actually looking, but we did get the SFP, and it's just like I probably could have just sat out of that position, to be honest. It was a little bit of a knife catch, but once you see that swing failure pattern, it did give us the entry trigger, so I took it. Small stop loss, got stopped out, but again, I was also hedged very nicely with the short position. So we'll see what happens here, guys. But I'll keep you guys updated here on the live stream and the market updates. If anything crazy happens, I'll drop a market update tomorrow. But with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to Jesse. Why don't we have 1K likes already? What do y'all think? What do you all think about smashing that like button? Smash that like button if you guys want $100 in Solana. 1,000 likes, $100 in Solana, and 3 Frankie Candles hats on tomorrow's giveaway. Thank you all for being here. I love each and every single one of you. See you tomorrow, same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
What's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
We're in desperate mode, guys. She's not doing good, guys. We might have to, I hate to say this, Mrs. Candles, but we might have to get a new, we might have to order a new Mrs. Candles. I hate to divorce her like this, but she's just non-responsive. Somebody, Tony D, drop our P.O. box. Somebody send us some Mrs. Candles. But guys, that's all I got. Hopefully Bitcoin, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll see the premium members in the Discord. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frank Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it.
Come on, Bitcoin. Yeah, you know. Mrs. Candles is trying. Come on, Mrs. Candles. Rub it up, Mrs. Candles. Come on.
Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up. Yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the